Hello everybody and welcome back here on Eiersholt. It's the very last day of autumn and today's episode is mainly going to be about getting our animals all set up for winter, make sure they're okay, and a few things. Yeah, I skipped a day on the game. I seeded oats up on field 31 and as you might notice if you watch previous episodes, we're a bit lower on money than we were before due to our new installation here. Yes, I've cut down a couple more trees sitting here ready to go. The rest are lying over here in a pile right now. But I put in some additional manure storage. We've got a slurry tank in here at the back, so I'm hoping this will work out as a good place. But the reason for that is that our manure heap up here at the cows, for example, is starting to overspill, and we still haven't put down straw bedding for any of the pigs. But now that weather is starting to turn cold and we're looking to winter, we need to get these things sorted out, and we need to get extra feed mixed, both for the cows, not so much for the pigs unfortunately, because well, we don't have any root crops. So we can feed them some corn and some grain and things like that, but we won't be able to mix pig food directly in the mixer right now. So we're going to have to try and balance the feed out, even if it means that they're not optimum growth. But probably also we got this wood to sell, and then we got the wood chips that we created in the last episode. They need to go down as well, and that ended up being quite a bit of them. I actually cut the big trunks up as well. So we also need to get the last field seeded with wheat. So we're gonna head down and grab a T7. The soil is still wet, so with the mud I might struggle a bit, but we'll see how we get on. We'll get them going, and then we'll very quickly turn our eyes to the animal. And if I open the right door, then we'll definitely get going. So I think we'll use our T7 here. It's been fully serviced now, so we'll get over, we'll pick up the seeder. We're going to use the smaller of the Horsch seeder, since that field has just been ploughed, and this one is a direct drill, so it'll do a bit of cultivation of the ground as well, which I think would probably be better when you were dealing with just a ploughed up ground that hasn't been subsequently cultivated. So already filled it up with seed and fertilizer, so we can get it folded up and get this over to the field, and then we can get on with cleaning up and feeding the animals, and get feed mixed and some manure moved as well. So we can see the leaves are starting to drop off the trees. Starting to look quite sparse, and the ground temperature is all the way down at 5 degrees now, so I'm really hoping that this wheat will take on this field, otherwise it'll be a bit of a waste of seed. But we're going to give it a shot and see how we do. We're also starting to move into a time where it's worth thinking about selling some more of our grain. We do have a healthy amount of grain in store, more than we need for feeding pigs. So, but that will be in one of our winter episodes instead. But instead, we are gonna get the seeder on the go with wheat here. He seems to be managing okay, although he is slipping a bit on the mud. So I'll just get a course play set up for this, so we can get back over on the farm. He's looking a bit bouncy in the mud, but hopefully the work is going to be okay in there, and it's going to get managed to get things in. Might get a few warnings of slipping if it gets too bad. So in the meantime, we're going to get our Massey Ferguson out here. We're just going to take it over to the cow stable first of all, and get the animals cleaned out and get the water topped up, and then we will get feed in, and we'll make sure that the straw is okay as well. I think we need to get some extra straw in, but we have our shred of that. Oh, before I get too far, we'll remember to get our water going here. There's a fair amount of spillage, and it all comes out as silage, which we can still dump back in, but at some point, because the animals eat kind of in order of preference, they'll always eat the TMR first. So if we just take a quick look at the feeding here, so we can see that that's about 10,000 liters of silage sitting in there now, but it's not really going down. We're about halfway on TMR, so we need in the region of 8,000 liters of total mixed ration, loaded up and fed to the cattle. There might be a little bit left in the feed mixer, but I don't think it's going to be enough, so we're going to head down to the feeding plant. That gives us an opportunity to check on how much there is and what we need to get it loaded up with as well. So we've still got plenty of silage. So I haven't checked on the latest batch that we created whether it has filled up yet, but we'll do that in a minute. So we'll set that to fill. It's no harm if it fills completely actually, but in the meantime, what we can do here is we can just come over here and actually start up the plant. It gets a little bit noisy, but it means we can see the displays here. So we're at about 70,000 liters of TMR going down, of course, as we're filling this. We got a little bit of straw, a little bit of silage, but we were completely out of hay. So we do have some hay bales sitting up there. We also, of course, have lots of hay sitting over in our new drying facility there. So we can get some extra straw and some extra hay, and there's still quite a lot of silage sitting in here. So we should be fine from that perspective. But we definitely got enough in here now. It's full to the brim. So it'll be enough for the next couple of days in here as well. The Massey can just about pull this Anderson Smart Mix. It's not the biggest one, it's the second largest, and it's right under horsepower range for this Massey Ferguson. I think it's 120 horsepower that are required. It's a little bit tight coming in here with all this mud, but we're in. So just take it nice and easy down the row here. Get it filled as much as is required. There we go. So it actually took a bit more than 8,000, took about 12,000. So that's at least a feeding trough completely full. And we typically do this every morning anyway, to stay on top of it, but they roughly have enough feed to last for 2 days in the trough, I'd say. But then that's if we want to keep them topped up on their first choice of feed. So the straw blower is stacked quite high with bales right now, but we're actually going to be taking it down to the pigs as well, because we want to put in some straw bedding for winter. And since we now have a storage heap for manure, that will be a bit more doable. We've got plenty of slurry sitting ready for when we want to do some fertilizing in spring. And oh, it's already full. I thought it looked like it needed some more, but that's fine. We're all done. We'll take it down to the pigs straight away. Normally we use the front loader for cleaning out the telehandler, we could call that as well, not the front loader, to clean out the pigs and keep them topped up on feed. When we change over from using the pig food that we had sitting in the mixer, we are going to have to perhaps use some big bags or something like that instead. Keep the feed a little bit closer to where the pigs need it. But we'll also get that sorted today, so that If the farmyard does end up getting covered in snow and ice and everything like that over winter, we don't have to drive long distances to stay on top of the animals. But we're here, and I'll just top up the water for the pigs as well. So obviously they haven't been cleaned out yet, but we should be able to bring the straw in nonetheless. And not quite sure how much we need here because we haven't actually been putting straw down for the pigs before. So we'll just take it easy. Going down here, we can see it's filling quite slowly. We might not even have enough in the spreader here, although there are a couple of bales. So let's see, is that it? Let's just check on the screen. Yeah, that's the pigs full of straw, 2,500 litres. Obviously we need to get them cleaned up, and as we can see, we can pretty much manage to feed them with all what's mentioned here in terms of corn, wheat, barley, soybeans, canola, sunflowers. We got plenty of all three kinds of feed for the pigs because they seem to be taking it down more across the bar, but I don't know if can we get out this way. I've never really used this way to drive through before, but it seems easier with the straw blower here to do that. And quite conveniently, I can show you something else once I close the gate behind us here. Get those doors closed, the gate is closed, I can jump over there, that's good. Yeah, so that's at least the straw for the pigs sorted out as well. Obviously they haven't produced any manure, but we have 3 trailers sitting here full of wood chips, or almost full of wood chips, one of them at least, that we need to take down and get sold as well, since we have been spending some extra money on the manure store as well, so we're down to just over 100,000. We also need to go down to the dealership today and buy some road salt for our salt spreader, so that if and when we see some winter coming in, we're kind of ready for that. At least we got the cows fully taken care of now. I guess we should be closing the gates since it's now getting quite cold outside and we want to keep the stable a little bit more sheltered. As I mentioned, we tend to use the telehandler more for bringing feed and cleaning for the pigs. We need a manure fork for the telehandler so we can get some of that cow manure moved. But I'm just dumping off some feed here first, then we'll get things cleaned up, and then I guess we'll have to try and I think we'll see if we can get the telehandler manure fork picked up at the same time as the road salt down at the dealership. So while we're here, we can have a quick look at how the pigs are doing as well. So as we can see, our pigs are up to, basically all of them are 141 kilos. They're the ones we've been fattening up. I reckon we're going to keep them until we're over on sort of spring side of things. And then we're probably going to get rid of the lot and bring in breeding pigs instead, because we have a much higher pig capacity after the map got updated. We still got to get a little bit of feed in, they're still only about 2/3. So today we're just gonna use some of the pig feed that's left in the mixer. There's not an awful lot left. And once we've done that, then we're gonna start using grain directly from our own silos instead. Because, as we can see here, this pig feed mixer needs root crops. As well as grain, oil seeds and maize. So I don't think we're going to be able to use it because we're going to end up having no root crops until we plant potatoes up on field 14, and that won't be until basically the coming year. So we'll just fill this bucket with pig food for now. and dump off as much as is needed in here, and then we can leave the shovel in the shed, and then we'll head down to the dealership. We'll try and pick up some road salt and manure fork as well. I think it's really impressive to see on the map that the way that the foliage changes, even during autumn, isn't just that it goes from having sort of yellow and brown trees, but the amount of leaves that are left, oops, grabbing the wrong side here. But yeah, the amount of leaves that are left on the trees is actually thinning out as we're moving through autumn, which I think is pretty impressive. Nice detail. So, the dealership has already delivered. We're just waiting for them to come and load it onto our trailer, but we got 3 bags of road salt. If we're lucky, we won't need it all, obviously. They're not cheap. As you can see, we spent about 7,000 here, but we also got this manure fork for the telehandler, so we can get that manure shifted. So, we're all loaded up and good to go. Get this back up to the farm now. Really the thing we need the most to begin with will be the manure fork. Very muddy here in the entrance, they really should get that fixed at the dealership. So while the pickup truck is down at the store and picking up that manure shovel, we can get some of these bales loaded into the feed mixer. We primarily need hay, so we got a set of bale spikes sitting up in the shed up here, so we can get some of these hay bales loaded into the mixer so we can get some more total mix ration. We might also grab a few straw bales. But first and foremost, get some of these hay bales in. These were the hay bales that we created back in early spring actually, and obviously we've used a fair bit of them already to generate the total mix ration that we have been feeding cows on pretty much since springtime. So yeah, there's still a few left, and this is going to help boost up our TMR again to a healthy level that will hopefully see us through, just in case we get really stuck in snow and ice or anything like that. We're probably gonna try and see if we can get all of them in today. We might as well, rather than having them sitting up here separately. So we're almost done. Just a stack of 4 and the last 2 to go in. Then we have a couple of straw bales left in this shed as well. We'll get those in. I don't think we need to put any more straw in for the moment, as long as I don't tip this. Oh dear. This felt a bit precarious. Oh, it was very precarious. Oh dear. I'll get that bale fished out and sorted out. I think the pickup truck is just about back. And I can see that our worker needs to be refilled, so we'll get the C-tender hooked up to the pickup and sent out to the field so we can get seed and fertilizer refilled and get that wheat finished on our new, well, not new field, but previous grass field, now wheat field, field 32. Excellent. So we now got about 68,000 and 39,000 litres, as well as a ton of silage still in there. So that should get us probably another 100,000 litres of TMR, which is excellent. So we'll leave the plant running to carry on with the mixing. And in time to get the warning about refill, the pickup truck is returning to the farm. We are going to leave the trailer up here because we have our snowplow and salt spreader sitting here. We're probably going to be unloading the salt in this shed as well. And actually, if I turn this around, then at least the telehandler will be able to get the manure fork straight off without any problem. So I'll just get this parked up and then we'll go down and fetch our seed runner. So there's still quite a lot to do. We still need to sell some wood and some wood chips and things like that, and we need to get this seeding finished. So plenty to do on Eiersholt farm today as well. Good, we've got 4,000 litres of each, so we can get out and get this seeder refill. I have to admit, I'm a little bit uncertain with this mud how our pickup truck is gonna fare. It's still wet out in the field, but we'll give it a shot at least and see how it goes. If we get stuck, we'll have to see what we do, but I think we should manage. Oh, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. Oh dear. Are we getting stuck? Right, we made it, but it was pretty touch and go, to be honest. So I think we're going to use the exit up the top of the field here rather than trying to get all the way back. That is, once we got this tractor refilled, of course. But I guess it's more realistic. You wouldn't probably really drive a car in like this to try and fill a seeder. But we're getting some fertilizer in. We'll just check the seed level while we're at it. Good, all done. You can carry on seeding. Hopefully that is the last time we'll have to try and brave this and get our cars stuck in the field. Even the tractor's slipping a bit, so no wonder our car's struggling a bit here. So we're taking the road home instead of trying to drive down the length of the field. So we've got the telehandler, and now that we don't have any bales left in this shed, I'm going to take the spike up and put it up here next to our shed for bale storage, since that's where we are going to be using it in the future. As we're shifting stuff around, mostly for the straw blower to begin with, but then obviously also later on potentially for some more feed mixing. And we'll get this manure fork on, and we can start shifting some of that cow manure down into our new storage pit, so we don't get it overflowing quite as drastic as it has been out onto the road and sort of up over the wall here. But it'll take a little while to get that done, so we better get cracking. continues to be shifted. We are going to hop into this T7. We're going to get ourselves a little convoy going down to the sawmill, and we got some logs, and we got a whole big pile of wood chips as well. Now the only question is whether we can pull them all in a single load. We might need the 8R if we're going to be pulling 3 trailers in a single action, but we'll just leave the T7 here with the logs on, and then we will get the 8R out to pull the wood chip trailers. So it took a little finagling, but we got all 3 on. So now got the 8R pulling 54,000 litres of wood chips down to the sawmill, as well as the logs with the T7. And we better get going while everything else is also going on here on the farm. Okay, it seems like our road train has made it all the way to the sawmill now. I'm not sure if we're getting a particularly good price for wood chip right now, but we need to get rid of it. We will need the trailers for the jobs and shifting hay and perhaps even grain if the truck's busy. So we'll head down, we'll sell off both the logs and the wood chips. I might have to unhook some of these trailers and do them one at a time here to get things sold off though. So we'll get the logs done first. There's not a huge amount here, and they're kind of all sorts of weird shapes and sizes. I'm not expecting to get a ton of money for these. $11,000 for the logs. That's pretty good in itself. Oh wow, so just the first trailer load has earned us 34,000 euros. And the last Eiersholt trailer load is also bringing us in a very healthy amount of money, 20,000. That means we've made basically 80,000 euros out of wood chips. That has been a very good earner, far better than I was expecting, to be honest. As the work on moving manure is progressing throughout the afternoon here, I realized we didn't really have a look at how the cows were doing in terms of where we are in expecting calves and starting to see milk being produced. So we can take a quick look at that now. So as we can see, we have 51 cows, and there is of course a range of animal pregnancies. By and large, most of them are pregnant. The health is good, it's up over the 90s. I think most are still sort of in the region of 0.2 to 0.5 years, where we have one here that's only 0.1 of a year away from the giving birth to a calf. There's another one there. So actually, it might even be during the winter that we'll see the first arrival of calves on the farm. It won't be a whole lot. Now, I don't actually know. I assume some of them will be males, just like it is for the chickens as well. Now, obviously, those males we will keep in the stables until springtime, and then we'll have to start thinking about whether we're going to establish a fattening yard somewhere for the bulls, so that they can be fattened up and sold for slaughter, or whether we are just going to sell them directly. But first of all, it'll be exciting once we actually start seeing some offspring, and we have plenty of capacity in the cow stable still, so we'll definitely be keeping all of the females. The good news is, just as I'm starting to think about wrapping this episode up, we get the message that T7 has finished seeding the wheat field just outside the farm here. And so with a look down into the telehandler here, hello, we're gonna finish today's episode. We've done quite a few different jobs. We've actually earned far more money than I had expected on wood chips, which was really positive. Thank you very much to subscribers and visitors to the channel for the continued support and great comments and feedback that I am getting. If there are particular types of jobs you'd really like to see more of, and it kind of roughly fits in with the plans of running Eiersholt here, drop a comment, let me know if there are particular things you'd like to see, or if you have questions, anything like that. For the next episode, we'll be coming back. It will be during winter, so it'll mainly be we'll be maintaining the animals. We'll try and do a bit of logging, as long as we don't get completely covered in snow, and of course, if we do get snow, some clearing will have to be done. But for now, we are finished with our autumn jobs. We are pretty much winter ready, just a little bit manure to shift still here. That'll take a while. But for now, it's thank you very much from Overcode Gaming, and see you again soon.